Can you not see?
What egregious offense have I committed now, Carlo?
I am standing right here, but you refuse to look at me.
I did no such thing.
You are singing of your love for me, but you are paying no attention.
Don't be ridiculous.
Fine, sing without me.
No, clearly I'm at fault. I will leave.
Rosa, no. Both of you, please, stop. Rosa. Mannaggia.
Elvira, please take over and let us continue.
Of course, Signore Arturo.
Al tanto tempo del movimento
What's wrong? Elvira!
What? Me? Hola.
What? What did she say?
Bella! Oh, no!
Poison.
So it would seem, George. Dr. Grace will complete her analysis back at the morgue.
The victim was Elvira Cummings, sir. She was in the chorus and also served as understudy to Rosa Hamilton, who plays the lead role of Mimi. According to the impresario, Senor Arturo, the company is originally from New York, touring here with their production of La Boheme.
La Boheme, George. Gather everything the victim may have touched and bring it back to the station, please.
Sir.
Did anyone see Miss Cummings eat or drink prior to collapsing?
She was drinking red wine. Prop. Red wine. We all were. But she had no reaction.
Did she eat?
I don't think so.
Detective, Elvira did drink from Rosa's glass just before she collapsed.
Is this true?
Yes, but Rosa also drank from the same glass. It could not be poison.
No, Carlo. You poured the wine, but I didn't drink from it.
Are you quite sure, Madam Hamilton?
Of course I'm sure.
So only Miss Cummings drank from your glass?
What are you saying, Detective?
Perhaps the poison wasn't meant for Miss Cummings, but for you, Madam Hamilton.
But who would want to kill me?
There you go.
Mr. Peters, you prepared the wine backstage, yes?
I'm responsible for props for all the actors?
And all of the actors drank from the same carafe?
Yes.
Who pours the wine into the glasses?
The actors themselves. It's a scene at a Bohemian cafe. They are eating and drinking freely.
I see. So you set the wine glasses on the tables for the performance. Did you examine them?
Yes. I saw nothing untoward, Detective.
Come on, out of the way! Detective Murdoch. It's terrible. Terrible.
Came as soon as I heard, Murdoch. Glad you arrived so promptly.
Senor Arturo, this is Inspector Brackenreed.
You're in good hands. This is my best man.
Inspector Brackenreed, may I introduce to you La Diva, Madame Rosa Hamilton.
Inspector.
Such a pleasure, Madam Hamilton. I've followed your career since your stunning debut at the Paris Opera.
You were there?
I read the notices. I'm very familiar.
A fan. How enchanting. And a man of some refinement.
I believe in keeping up appearances, especially in the colonies. I can assure you that the Toronto Police Department will get to the bottom of these disturbing events.
We are all available for your questions, Inspector.
I will be resting in my dressing room.
Of course.
Please, excuse us.
It appears our victim, Elvira... Sir?
What? Oh, of course. What have you got, Μέρντοχ?
It appears our victim, Elvira Cummings, was poisoned while on stage, but may not have been the target.
A mistake?
Miss Cummings replaced Madame Hamilton during the performance, after the wine had been poured into her glass. Madame Hamilton may have been the intended victim.
Who in their right mind would want to kill the magnificent Hamilton? She's the finest soprano in the world, Μέρντοχ.
You'll have to excuse me, Inspector. Elvira's death has been quite a shock.
You knew Miss Cummings well, madam.
She was my discovery, my protege. We did everything together.
She could sing.
I was grooming her, Inspector. No voice springs fully formed. She blossomed under my tutelage.
What an opportunity for the young woman, learning at the hand of a master like yourself.
Yes. Though I admit I was flattered by her devotion. She adopted my mannerisms, started wearing my perfume. Elvira liked to take souvenirs from my dressing room, little things, small treats, thinking I didn't notice. She wanted so much to be me. Please, sit.
Oh, thank you. Can you think of anyone who would want to harm you, Madame Hamilton?
No. I am the star of La Boheme. The rest of this provincial cast would be nothing without me. Nothing.
What about Signor Corsi?
Carlo is adequate. But it is my voice the people flock to hear, not his. Ask Arturo. He begged me to join the company.
Rosa? She's the queen of my nightmares. She drives a man mad with her demands and tantrums.
I see, Signor Arturo. So you tolerate her?
She is the goose that lays the golden egg. Hers is the voice that sells tickets at box offices all over the world.
Has this company been together for long?
I formed a traveling company out of New York several years ago. Rosa doesn't like to leave her home in Europe. But Corsi and we persuaded her. The North American audience was crying out to hear her.
And Miss Cummings?
No, that Elvira should die like that. It's terrible. She was a sweet thing. Such a voice for one so young. And her body, bellissima.
Signor Arturo, do you know of anyone who may want to kill Rosa?
Talk to Carlo Corsi.
Corsi? The tenor who plays Rodolfo?
He was smitten with Elvira, Detective. He might want his older lover, Rosa, to take, how do you say, a rear seat.
That is ridiculous. I had no feelings for Elvira.
But you quarreled with Rosa at the rehearsal.
Of course. We're lovers. All lovers fight, Detective. Rosa is a very passionate woman, both on and off the stage.
So you admit to having differences?
She is selfish and insufferable. But I wouldn't kill her. You police should be talking to Miss Thierry.
Anne-Marie Thierry?
Yes.
Mimi is nothing. Musetta is the character with spirit.
Musetta does have a fine solo in Act 2.
To play Musetta requires skilled acting, not mooning about like that lovesick waif Mimi.
Mimi is the role that opera audiences will love 100 years from now, Miss Thierry. Every singer longs for that kind of immortality. I am familiar with La Boheme, mademoiselle. It may be Puccini's newest work, but I'll wager it'll be his most memorable.
That may be, but it's not me who wanted to play Mimi.
Who did?
The dead girl, Elvira. God rest her soul. She was the ambitious one.
Elvira?
She pretended to be innocent, but underneath the act, she was conniving. She bamboozled Madame Hamilton, though no one would dare to say it.
What do you mean?
Rosa wouldn't hear a word uttered against Elvira. She thought the girl could do no wrong.
Thank you, Miss Thierry. You've been most helpful.
Who wanted to kill Rosa? We all did.
I will remind you, sir, that I'm a policeman. Your words could easily be misinterpreted.
It's true, we all wanted her dead. But to kill such a young beauty as Elvira by mistake, that is a tragedy.
What else can you tell me, Mr. Dominique?
I was the one who heard her last word.
You did?
Yes. It was Viola.
Do you know what she meant?
No.
All the viola players are accounted for. In fact, sirs, none of the orchestra members had an opportunity to slip poison into Miss Cummings' glass. At the time of the murder, they were all in the pit. An unfortunate term, in my opinion.
Thank you, George. Miss Cummings' last word, viola. In Italian, it means violet. Could the victim be referring to Violet the color, or Violet the flower?
There were violets on the bonnet the victim was holding when she died.
Ah, yes, the bonnet. The bonnet has great significance in the plot of La Boheme. Rodolfo buys it for Mimi as a token of his love.
While the actors who play Rodolfo and Mimi, Rosa Hamilton and Carlo Corsi, are lovers in real life.
This acting company seems a dramatic lot. There's as much emotion off stage as there is on it.
They're actors, Crabtree. An occupation that requires the employ of one's passions. They can't just bury the fury of emotion once the curtain falls.
Apparently not. Judging by the interviews, all of our cast had motive for killing Madame Hamilton, including the victim herself. Miss Cummings was ambitious.
And possibly in some love triangle with Corsi.
Exactly. All the more reason why having Madame Hamilton out of her way would be very convenient.
Well, perhaps she accidentally ingested poison that she had intended for Madame Hamilton.
There was a strong smell of bitter almond when I cut open the victim's stomach, and her skin was pinker than normal, a sign of internal asphyxia. I believe the poison was potassium cyanide.
A quick-acting substance.
Yes, she very likely was killed on stage by a fellow actor who slipped the poison into the wine after it was poured into Rose's glass.
We've arrived at the same conclusion. Will you be conducting more tests?
Yes, but it will take time. You will be the first to know my results.
Thank you, Doctor. Constable Crabtree has conducted a search for potassium cyanide at the theater. Nothing's materialized.
Had to be one of the actors. They've been working in close quarters for months. Who knows where all those tensions and jealousies can lead?
There's also Signor Arturo, sir. He was there.
That's true. And then there's that props fellow.
Mrs. Brackenreed.
Hello, Detective Murdoch.
Margaret, what are you doing here?
I came by to tell you that I picked up the tickets from the box office. There's quite a commotion at the theater.
As there would be.
Are you sure the performance will still take place?
Rosa Hamilton won't disappoint her faithful followers.
Thomas has talked about nothing but Rosa Hamilton this and Rosa Hamilton that for weeks.
Oh, it promises to be quite a performance. You must be very excited.
Not really. I'd rather have a good laugh at the music hall. But Thomas insisted I give it a try. It's a good excuse for a new dress, as I see it.
I'll see you at home, Margaret.
Don't be too late.
The missus doesn't share my love for culture. I haven't told her the whole thing's in Italian yet.
But will she follow the story?
It's not that hard. Rodolfo's jealousy almost destroys his love for Mimi. Only when it's too late does he tell her she's his true love. Then Mimi dies of consumption.
That's it.
It's not about the story, Murdoch. Opera's about the expression of emotion. Pure emotion expressed through virtuosic singing.
I had no idea you had an ear for opera, sir.
Life holds greater riches than a job in the Toronto Constabulary. There's a lot of things you don't know about me, Murdoch.
Clearly.
Sirs, we've received a message from Signor Arturo. You're needed at the theater immediately.
Officers, there is no time to lose. My beautiful star, my diva.
These arrived at the stage door. Violets. With this note.
Your life is mine.
You've received other such notes?
They started arriving after we played Chicago.
Why didn't you tell me?
They were all silly nonsense. I simply ignored them. None of them threatened me.
Do you have the other notes?
Some of them. I thought of them as charming billets doux. I suppose I was wrong.
Madam Hamilton, you must be ever vigilant until this killer is apprehended. I'll post a constable to watch...
A constable? I don't think so, Murdoch. May I offer my services as your personal bodyguard?
Why, Inspector, do your other duties allow for such a commitment?
Your safety is the constabulary's paramount concern, Madam Hamilton.
Then I accept your generous offer. Perhaps you could escort me to my hotel.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone. Move aside, clear path. Out of this way. Thank you.
tomorrow.
Of course.
Thank you.
That's enough. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Here you go, madam. Do you face crowds like this in every city?
Of course.
Must be overwhelming for you.
Overwhelming. Their applause sustains me.
But to be mobbed like that?
A star needs an adoring audience.
Do the other actors receive the same attention?
A few tittering young ladies sometimes wait at the door for a glimpse of Carlo.
How well do you know Signor Corsi?
Carlo and I have been lovers since we sang together in Milan 10 years ago. Why?
Well, there are rumors about him and Miss Cummings.
Carlo has a wandering eye. It's part of his charm. And Elvira had a flirtatious nature, a folly of the girl's youth.
So there was something between them?
Of course not. Elvira was like a younger sister to me. I admire the way you handled that crowd. A woman would feel safe around you, Thomas. Can I call you Thomas?
Of course.
Anything, sir?
Have a look at this, George.
Tidy writing, good spelling. The work of an educated person, I would say. Oh. Is that an ink stain, sir?
I don't think so, George. It's darker than the writing. When I add water to it, it doesn't run. Some sort of permanent dye. Indigo, perhaps.
How does that help us, sir?
I have no idea. How did you fare?
Well, the flowers were ordered from a florist on Queen Street 2 days ago. The method of payment was cash in an envelope pushed under the door.
Another in a series of mysteries.
Quite so, sir. Including the victim herself.
How do you mean?
Well, I tried to contact Miss Cummings' relatives to inform them of her untimely passing. The address she gave in Chicago doesn't exist.
That's strange. Perhaps Signor Arturo can help you with that.
Perhaps.
Elvira joined the company in Chicago as Rosa's dresser 6 months ago. But apart from the address I have given you, I know little of the girl's background.
Madam Hamilton must have taken quite a shine to the girl.
Rosa took Elvira under her wing from the first instant. She loved the girl's voice and insisted I hire her as a chorus member.
And then also she was an understudy for the company.
Only for Rosa, though she was hardly needed. Rosa would never miss a performance. On her deathbed, that woman would still sing. A true artist.
Elvira must have had a good voice then.
Rosa was teaching her to develop her vocal control. Oh, she had the voice. There is no question. If she had only lived, the poor little songbird. The column. Now, if you will excuse me, Constable, I have a civic reception to prepare for.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Signor Arturo. I believe that Miss Cummings inveigled her way into Rosa Hamilton's life. As I understand it, sir, an intimate relationship can often form between an artist and her dresser, wherein the dresser can become a trusted confidant.
George, what are you trying to tell me?
Well, sir, look at the contents of the letters. I will care for you. I will protect you. Letters that began to arrive after the company performed in Chicago, after Elvira joined.
So it's your belief that Miss Cummings was writing the letters to Madame Hamilton?
Yes, sir. And she could have been the one to send the bouquet of violets. They were ordered before she died.
But why would Miss Cummings want to kill her mentor?
To take her place, sir. Except she accidentally drank the poison that she intended for Rosa.
Is that plausible?
Well, sir, there were 6 actors gathered around a couple of small cafe tables, upon which are 6 identical glasses of wine. Now, it's quite conceivable that Miss Cummings, now in the role of Mimi, now standing where Mimi would have, erroneously drank from the diva's glass.
That's an interesting theory, George.
Thank you, sir.
You've played that singing at least 5 times now, Thomas. I am tiring of it.
How can one tire of such a passionate expression of love, Margaret?
Perhaps one is more attuned to a certain shrillness in her voice. I'll get it. Thank you. They're for you, Thomas.
For me?
To Thomas. With gratitude, Rosa.
Margaret.
She would send a man flowers.
She is a lady of rare breeding. And now, I must get a move on. I'm picking up Madame Hamilton at the Queen's Hotel at 6. Au revoir, ma chérie.
Puccini's Bohemian Cafe is a very different setting for an opera. But what finer place for a reception this evening?
I may admire your detecting skills, Μέρντοχ, but your sense of style, a little underdressed for cocktails, don't you think?
Yes, I sang with Enrico Caruso. Oh, he loves his little practical jokes. In Paris, in the midst of Che gelida mani now,
The famous aria, your tiny hand is frozen.
he presses into my hand a hot sausage. Oh, the little devil. He knew Puccini was in the audience.
Miss Peters, do you recall where Miss Cummins was seated when she picked up the glass?
Oh, Mimi picks up the glass. Oh, no, Detective, that's quite wrong. In the scene, Rodolfo picks up 2 glasses and hands one of them to Mimi.
Ah, I see. Rodolfo, played by Signor Corsi, yes?
Yes.
She's a wonderful singer. She's in it.
I don't believe we've met, Detective.
It's so good.
I'm Mademoiselle Thierry.
Oh, yes, of course, you play the part of Musetta.
You must be an opera lover.
I confess to being somewhat of a neophyte. However, the performance promises to be very exciting.
If Rosa survives the night.
You have reason to believe that she won't, Mademoiselle Thierry?
Well, there is a murder among us, is there not, Detective? Why else would you be here?
I am quite nervous.
Madam, I won't take my eyes off you.
Would you be a dear and refill my champagne?
Of course.
Thank you.
Rosa Hamilton is getting old.
Be careful what you say, Dominic.
It's true. Everyone knows it. It's time for a younger woman to take over.
And you are suggesting?
Anne-Marie has the voice you've said so many times.
What am I to say to Rosa?
That may not be a problem for much longer.
Be careful, my young friend. Your love for Anne-Marie will get you into trouble.
There you are, Thomas. Is that my champagne?
Yes.
Thank you. I believe you've just saved my life.
This was no accident, sir.
Bloody hell. Another attempt on Madame Hamilton's life.
Let's get out of here, Madam.
There you are, Thomas. The boys are in bed, but I waited dinner for you. Your favorite, tripe and onions.
Sorry, Margaret, but dinner will have to keep. I've just received a message. I have to go back to the theatre. Madame Hamilton needs me right away.
Couldn't you send Constable Crabtree?
La Diva sent for me for a reason, Margaret. Must be a matter of great urgency.
La Diva.
Hello? Hello? Madame Hamilton? Hello?
There you are, Thomas.
Madame Hamilton? Are you all right? What's this all about?
Please, call me Rosa. This is my humble attempt to thank you for saving my life. I hope you like pheasant.
Well, certainly beats tripe and onions.
Please, sit down, Thomas.
So tell me about Carlo, Rosa. Is he good to you?
He's a man of many passions, but he's fickle with his attentions. He's like a bumblebee who must stop at every flower.
Flowers like Elvira Cummings.
He's not like you, Thomas. You are a dependable man who protects his woman.
But when you sing together?
When we sing, we are not Carlo and Rosa, but Rodolfo and Mimi.
Ah, Mimi. The tragic role that every soprano longs to sing, including, I presume, Miss Anne-Marie Thierry.
Of course. And she would do anything to get the part. Even allow herself to be seduced by that old goat, Arturo.
Arturo? Really?
We've all allowed Arturo some liberties. I was younger then. It seemed a trifle.
And what does Dominic think about his true love, Anne-Marie, trifling with Arturo?
Dominique would do anything to get Anne-Marie the part.
Even murder?
He would do anything to help that fraud he loves.
Are you all right?
This is a terrible business. Behind the scenes, it is a battle every day. Sometimes I think they would all be happy if I were dead.
Oh, that's not true.
They'd miss their pay packet, but that's all. Even Arturo. And it's only a matter of time before Carlo will leave me.
You're wrong. No one holds a candle to you. There will only ever be one Rosa Hamilton. What did you mean Anne-Marie is a fraud?
Anne-Marie isn't even her real name. It's Viola Evans.
I use a stage name. That's hardly a crime.
Who in the company knew your real name?
Elvira found out. She made it her business to know people's secrets.
You would like Madame Hamilton's position in the company, wouldn't you?
Become prima donna. Of course.
The adoring fans would be waiting at the stage door for you, but not her.
Rosa gets far too much attention.
That must be infuriating. After all, you work as hard and sing as well as she does.
It's completely unfair.
Unfair enough to kill her, Miss Evans?
What do you mean?
Your name, Viola, was the last word uttered by Elvira Cummings. Did you intend to kill Madame Hamilton?
I did not. And even if I did poison her, Arturo would never let me play Mimi.
What do you mean?
He would have given the role to Elvira Cummings. She had him wrapped around her little finger.
There's Corsi, Rosa, and Elvira, and then there's Corsi, Rosa, and Arturo. The love affairs within the company are many, many faceted, Crabtree.
You mean Elvira and Arturo?
Yes, and Rosa.
Rosa and Arturo?
Back when she was young and foolish. Oh, and then there's Dominic, Anne-Marie, and Arturo.
Arturo again?
Yes, Crabtree. He's a bit of a lad.
Detective, another letter has arrived. Now he asks Rosa to meet him.
When?
1 hour from now. In the park near the theater.
Sir, the handwriting, it's not quite the same.
There's no time for that, Murdoch. Let's get a move on.
Carlo?
Well, yes, wasn't expecting him.
Sir, let us wait.
You? You wrote the letters?
What letters?
Then what are you doing here?
I followed you. I need to talk to you. Why are you doing this to me? You're breaking me in two, Rosa.
What do you mean?
Why do you shower your affections on that oaf of a policeman?
He's actually quite charming.
Why do you torture me this way?
What is the difficulty? I can be with whatever man I want.
You can't.
And why not? You have every young woman you fancy. Even my Elvira.
She tempted me. And I am a weak, weak man. She meant nothing to me.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
I knew it would break your heart.
Excuse me.
And who are you?
I cannot compete with a world-famous opera star. But I am
Bloody hell.
wife.
That appears to be your wife, sir.
I know that's my bloody wife, Μέρντοχ.
To ask you to leave him alone.
Yes, Rosa. Leave the policeman to his wife like she asks. Come back to me. Carlo, your true love.
Thomas?
What's going on, Margaret?
I should ask you the same question. What do you see in her, Thomas?
Oh, for God's sakes, don't be so ridiculous. I'm in the middle of important police work.
Is that what you call it?
Oh, don't be so dramatic. Now go on home. I'll be along shortly.
And who says the door will be open?
Your wife has spirit.
So she does.
It must be nice to have someone who treasures you.
But Rose, I treasure you.
Do you?
The man with red hair cannot make...
Not quite what we were expecting, sir.
God help me, Μέρντοχ. I'm in the middle of a bloody opera plot.
And even after all this time, I still don't know what the woman wants. I do what I can, Μέρντοχ. God only knows I try. But perhaps I've been neglecting the old girl lately.
A situation you could remedy, sir.
Take her to the music hall.
That's an excellent idea.
Gentlemen, I have results for you.
Oh, thank goodness, Doctor. What have you?
I ascertained Miss Cummings had a high sugar content in her bloodstream. So I ran a series of tests and made an interesting discovery. Sugar interacts with potassium cyanide, slowing it down.
Delaying the toxin's effects.
Correct, Detective. Given Miss Cummings' body weight, it is likely she ingested the poison at least an hour before she reacted.
That much earlier?
Yes. It is also quite possible that the killer disguised the poison in something sugary.
Are you quite sure?
I completed the test 3 times. It's correct. She ingested the poison at least an hour before she died.
Sir, the cafe scene is in the second act. How long is the first act?
Half an hour, I would say.
Then Elvira Cummings ingested the poison before the dress rehearsal began.
So she didn't die accidentally by taking a drink from Rosa's glass?
No, sir. Thank you, Doctor. We now know that Elvira Cummings was the intended target, not Rosa Hamilton.
One of them poisoned Elvira Cummings, Μέρντοχ.
They certainly all had motives, sir. Elvira Cummings was threatening to tell Rosa about Corsi's indiscretions. Miss Cummings was in the way of Anne-Marie Thierry's ambition. Mazzini had every opportunity. Signor Arturo would have been very displeased if his latest conquest was also involved with Corsi.
And our elusive letter writer may have killed Elvira in a misguided attempt to protect Rosa.
How did any of them find a way of poisoning the girl?
What are you doing?
Mr. Peters, you're the author of the letters Madame Hamilton's been receiving, aren't you?
What letters? I don't know what you're talking about.
Perhaps we should have this discussion at the station house.
No. I can't leave the performance. The diva is relying on me.
You take very special care of Madame Hamilton, don't you?
I do. I made Mimi's bonnet especially for her. With violets, her favorite flowers.
She must appreciate all of your thoughtful gestures.
Well, she doesn't notice me.
So you got her attention by writing the letters.
Letters?
The letters, Mr. Peters, you wrote on this paper at this very desk. Mr. Peters, if you keep this up, I will have no choice but to take you to the station and charge you with murder. Now, did you write the letters or not?
Yes.
And you sent the bouquet.
Yes. I wanted her to know I was here. I wanted her to see how much I admired her, but I would never harm her.
You're responsible for the lanterns as well.
Yes, why?
The scenery that fell and almost killed Rosa Hamilton. The rope that secured it was burnt through by a lantern.
That had nothing to do with me.
You were angry that Rosa ignored your affections, so you waited for an opportunity to exact your revenge. You set the lantern.
No, I didn't. I have no idea how the lantern got there. You have to believe me. I had checked the oil in the wicks just the night before.
You examined the lanterns the night before. Why?
Madame Hamilton asked me to. She watched me as I made sure they were full. I reassured her they'd be working perfectly for the third act at the Paris gates. Intermission. Excuse me, Detective. I must reset the stage for the next act.
Thank you, Mr. Peters.
Gifts from your many admirers, Rosa, and if I may say, richly deserved.
Thank you, Thomas. Now, let me prepare myself. The final act is very demanding.
Of course. Oh, this one's come a long way. All the way from Italy.
Oh, how wonderful! I was hoping it would arrive before opening night. My favorite sweets. They're handmade in Milano by the Rinaldo brothers, my favorite confectioners. And all for me. Well, perhaps one for you. Do you like it?
Viola.
Thomas, what's wrong? Viola liked to take souvenirs from my dressing room. Small things, thinking I didn't notice.
Hola.
Inspector.
I have to search your dressing room, Madam Hamilton.
For?
For cyanide. You poisoned the sweets, knowing that Elvira would eat them. Please, don't deny it.
She was taking everything from me. Started with little things like the sweets. Even as I encouraged her, she kept on taking. I didn't know how to stop her.
But she was just a slip of a young girl compared to you.
I'm no fool, Thomas. I can't sing forever. In a few years, she would have been the next diva. That I could accept. But Carlo, when she took Carlo...
But in the park, Carlo said he loved you.
By then it was too late.
You have to come with me, madam.
5 minutes of curtain, madam.
Inspector, I beg you, let me finish my final performance. Then do with me what you wish.
Madam.
Please. One last time.
I'll be in the wings.
Thank you. You're a man of honor.
Inspector.
I know, Μέρντοχ. We'll arrest her at the end of the performance. She is truly magnificent. We'll not hear anything like her for a long time.
Rosa?
No! No, Rosa! Oh, my God, Bella!
Sir, something's wrong.
Yes, Murdoch. Madam Hamilton is dead.
Rosa! It's all my fault. My poor darling.
This was in Madam Hamilton's dressing room.
Cyanide, sir.
An operatic ending worthy of Puccini himself.
Sir. I can take care of things here.
Thank you, Murdoch.
I saw you kiss her, Thomas, right here in this very theater.
What? Rose, Madam Hamilton was trying to make Corsi jealous.
Corsi, that good-looking singer, Corsi.
Yes, he was her lover.
And she thought that kissing you would make him jealous.
I'm sorry, Margaret. I got carried away.
Why, Thomas?
You look lovely. That new dress becomes you.
Does it now?
It's a beautiful night.
It is that.
Do you fancy strolling home? Just me and my best girl?
So when did you become the romantic, Thomas?
I'm a man of many surprises, Margaret. Pub's open.
Surprise, surprise.
It was just... I could bloody well use a drink.
We're strolling home, Thomas. Had you forgotten already?
Of course I hadn't, woman. I was just...
Thomas,